Okay, how's it going today, Wesley?
It's going, man. It's going.
Before you get started, would you like to advertise some upcoming events that you're going to be at?
Sure. So I can only remember up to the date you and I have scheduled so far. But July 10th, you can catch me in Tahlequah, Oklahoma for UWE. The following week, you can catch me Friday and Saturday in both. What is it? Follow Hill, Arkansas, as well as Mulberry, Arkansas, for chair metal wrestling and Down South Championship Wrestling. The weekend after that, you can catch me in Semmes, Alabama, where I will be hosting a seminar on character development, as well as participating on their card. And then the following week after that, which is August 7th, you can catch me at Red Dirt Wrestling. Of course, fighting the gigantic Caleb Oxley.
Okay, talking about Caleb Oxley, what's your strategy for that?
He's huge, so I'm gonna break his legs.
Okay, because I don't know if you've seen on Facebook lately, he's been having some words for you.
Oh, has he? Has he now?
Yeah, he's been saying that he's going to send you to his death pit.
Well, Dexter Hardaway tried and couldn't. I was still standing after that, so you got if you can compete with barbed wire to the head, then I can't wait to see what he does.
Okay. Now, out of your wrestling career, who do you idolize the most?
So I've been very fortunate to have grown up around the business and been in contact and have conversation with a lot of very famous professional wrestlers. But to say I idolize any of them would be lying, because I've always felt that if I was in a position to idolize someone, I would probably take from them a bit more than I would ever like to. So I've tried not to idolize anybody, just so that I can stay ahead of the game and be authentic to who I am in ring.
Okay. Actually, that makes sense. You want to be original, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. At what moment in your career or in your life did you realize wrestling was your go-to job?
So, like I said, I've been around the wrestling business for a long time. My dad was a ring announcer in the Tulsa area, eventually branching out, working with Harley Race and the WWF and a few other larger scale promotions. So I've been around the wrestling business ever since I was 2 years old. So wrestling was in the forefront of my mind the entire time I was growing up. There was never a doubt in my mind that I would do anything different. So when I turned 18, I began training, and then it was wrestling from then on. However, I don't like seeing wrestling as a job. While it is my main source of income and it does pay my bills, I don't like to view it as a job solely because then I start to get that like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore kind of thing. When I started looking at it in a more positive aspect and less like a job, I guess, I started to have a lot more fun with it. I started just loving it a lot more. And I can honestly thank Heart of Texas Wrestling and Metroplex Wrestling for allowing that to happen.
Actually, I've seen a lot of your MPX matches. I remember, I think of like a couple years back, I watched a match with you and Magnificent Malico, and I think it was a hardcore match. Y'all brought some
Yep.
Legos and all that in, and I was like, wow.
Yeah. That match in particular was at OKX in 2018. However, Malico and I would go on to have another match at MPX, a triple threat match with Richter, And in that match, we would bring out barbed wire, staples, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Okay. What? Talking about OKX, didn't you recently just face one of your best friends, Tommy Dean?
No. You see, Tommy and I had this figured out. There were two guys that sat on top of the mountain for Oklahoma, and that was John Cross and Aaron Anders. John and Aaron are by far like the standard when it came to Oklahoma performances. So Tommy and I knew that in order to get to the top, we had to take down the top of the mountain. So we devised this plan, right, to get ourselves booked against each other, only for us to then come together and take out John and Aaron at their weakest. So as soon as John beat Aaron, I ran out there, attacked John, and I gave Tommy the signal, come on out and let's, take it ours.
Which I do believe the one who made that like a hardcore match, I do believe was a hardcore legend himself.
Yes. We were standing there wondering who was actually going to make this thing official, and to our surprise, Coach Doggins and Dustin McGowan brought a video of Mick Foley saying that it was going to be a Wagner Street fight.
So how was that? How was that kind of experience, knowing that you kind of had Mick Foley there to make your match?
It was surreal because I've met Mick probably 2 or 3 times in my life, and each time he does remember me. However, he didn't realize that it was me or my match per se that he was making the video. So that was
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What championships have you won and awards?
Ooh, let's see. I believe the first championship I won was the UWE United States title, which has since been changed to the Apex Championship. I've won the WFC Tag Team Championships twice, and I've won the MPX Heavyweight Championship as well.
What about any awards in Oklahoma?
Nope, none.
Okay. Have you thought about your career after you retire or anything?
I have. I've given a lot of thought, and essentially, when I do decide to retire, I want to go off grid in the country and just be a recluse.
Nothing wrong with that. But I've been having questions, and how did you come up with your character?
So my wrestling gimmick is an extension of me. Back in 2016, mid 2016, I found my way into illegal substances and that sort of nature. So during that time, I realized how dark my mind was, and I started writing things down. And just writing my thoughts down, everything that was going through my head, I started writing it down in this notebook. And it was roughly this happened in 2012. In 2016, Skylar Faden, or Kai Faden, and I were working out in a gym, and I was kind of racking my brain about what gimmick I should go with since I was on my road to recovery with my leg breaking and everything. So he was like, man, I'm not saying that you should method act in any way, but maybe, pull from that dark period of your life and see what comes up. And so I looked back at the notebook that I'd written all that stuff in, and I saw thoughts of like, I wonder what a person tastes like. And a lot of like, so I have a sort of a God complex in a way. And a lot of those thoughts were in there. as well. So it was very fitting that I brought all of that into my wrestling gimmick. But I mean, anymore, my wrestling gimmick is just me. So all the things that you've seen,
that's pretty cool.
yeah, all the things that you've seen and all the things that you've heard me say, I mean, they're 100% me.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You can take something that kind of was bad back in the day and just build something that was amazing, pretty much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who trained you?
So, in 2014, I turned 18, graduated high school, and immediately started training with Brandon Groom. Groom trained me for 1 day. After that, I was passed off to Cole Crittenden and Do It To It Steve Cox, who performed in WCW. From there, I got trained for about 3 months under them before I was thrust into my first match. If I had it my way, I would have trained for at least a year or more, because it wasn't until probably my 4th year in that things started to click the way they should have. I know for a fact I wasn't ready when I had my first match.
Oh, wow. So if you could have any match with anyone, WWE, AEW, or anyone, who would you face?
I would love to work with AJ Styles because I feel like there's a wealth of knowledge to learn from him. I mean, he's literally done everything that there is to do in the business. So AJ is probably my number one.
Actually, I think he became a Grand Slam champion, I think, also in WWE.
Oh, wow.
I think so. I know he pretty much held every belt in TNA. Who was your first match?
My first match was against a wrestler who no longer wrestles, that went by That Handsome Devil, which is only fitting that I then call myself Satan.
Okay. What is your favorite memory in the ring?
There's been a lot of memories that I have, but my favorite has to be from this past Metroplex Wrestling show, where Dexter Hardaway and I got to step in the ring with each other one last time. We had a very brutal, excessive violence match, which is it's like taking hardcore up to another level without quite reaching death match yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I've seen photos of that, you holding him down, and it looked like he had some kind of sticks, and you're putting it in his head.
Yeah, I took giant nails and got him in the head with them.
What is your best memory on the road?
On the road, so I think there was only 2, maybe 3 people that will remember this, but there was a weekend where I did a loop in Texas, then went to Louisiana, then I went to Mississippi, then I went back to Louisiana, and then back to Texas, and then drove back to Oklahoma, all in the span of 2 days. And oh,
wow.
I drove the entire way in the car with one of my friends, Andy, and a referee named Anthony, who no longer refs anymore. But I remember the drive back home from Mississippi through Louisiana, through Texas, all the way back to Oklahoma, being like one of the craziest drives I'd done yet. and with no sleep, it was also the most difficult. So I found like crazy ways to keep myself awake, and that's probably one of my favorite ones that I have.
Oh wow. Let's see. What do you have any message for Caleb Foxley while we're here?
Yeah, I do. And that is, remember the basics. Don't try to complicate things, because the basics is what I'm going to target. Those little holes in your basic maneuvers is what I'm going to exploit. So don't forget the basics.
Okay. Also, I know you've had your experience with major hardcore matches. I wanted your opinion on an upcoming event up there in Oklahoma City, Empire Pro, with Drake Gallows versus Sabu.
I think that has the potential to be a really, really good matchup. It's funny because Empire is one of the places that I would like to work before the year's over. So, um, yeah, I think it's going to be a great match, great event.
So I guess at this time, if anyone on here has any questions, feel free to ask. And take advantage, because usually Wesley Crane's usually very busy. Okay. So, uh, but if you're wondering that when the match is going to happen, hold on. August 7th, 8608 Northwest 10th Street, Midwest City, Oklahoma. Bell time 6 p.m. Tickets only $10. And Levi Ash said, "Can you elaborate on your character development?" Okay, hold on. If I can stay up with it, okay. Okay, it says basically, can you elaborate on your character development that you did at the seminar?
Yeah. So when I take guys through character development, we assess who they are as a person and what they would like to portray in the ring. Sometimes they line up and sometimes they don't. And depending on if they line up or they don't, that kind of takes us down different avenues. We'll go over the backstory for your characters. We'll go over the way that maybe they should move, the way that they should the way that they should give off in the ring, if that makes any sense. It's a very in-depth process that sometimes leads people to find parts of themselves that they didn't realize were there. And I'm looking heavily forward to doing not only the one in Simmons, Alabama, but more in the future.
Okay.
I hope that answered your question.
Didn't you at one time? I think I talked to you about it. You said that you had either a tryout match or something. You got offered to TNA.
Yeah. So before everything kind of switched hands, I was in contact and was going to have a tryout with them. Unfortunately, things switched over, and it never came to fruition.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Let me see. I don't know if I can see any on my end here. I see James. Is there whiskey for Whiskey Wednesday? Whiskey Wednesday will be next Wednesday on my channel or on my profile here on Facebook. And yes, there will be plenty of whiskey. Also, all down for Wesley Crane versus Samedi. All down for that.
That'd be a major dark match right there. I mean, the question is though, can Wesley Crane handle the whole dark voodooing, mind controlling, and all that Samedi does?
Oh yes, Wesley Crane can handle that because, and I don't know if you were around or not during the original Legion, but it was Samedi, Wesley Crane, and Rob Cabela all in a trio, and I was by far the most reckless one in the group.
Do you find it hard to play more of a dark character than a normal character?
No, I don't, and I don't think so because, like I said, my character, the darkness of my character is just me. It's that negative, horrendous side of my brain that just kind of takes over in that moment. Anytime I'm playing a masked character or something that isn't me, I can easily tap into what I like to call the Disney or Nickelodeon comedy aspects of my brain.
Okay. Let's see if there's any more questions. And Eric Reese said, "Awesome character, always 100."
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions before we wrap it up here?
How would I play a dark character as a face? So the difference between a baby face and a heel, actually, it comes down to their actions, their mannerisms, and their motives behind things. However, the Wesley Crane character. Okay, I'll give you a hug in just a second, bud. Just a second. Right there, okay? The Wesley Crane character, he doesn't apologize for much. He does whatever he wants when he wants. I mean, he calls himself Satan, so it's one of those things that, like, he knows he's messed up. He knows he's evil, and all those evil things that he does, the crowd just loves. The personality behind him, they love it. However, traditionally, you could, I mean, let's look at Finn Balor. The demon Finn Balor is a babyface. Like, people cheer him, love him, and that's because he's very intense. But he doesn't do anything dirty. He doesn't rake their eyes. He doesn't rake down their back or low blow them. He doesn't do any of that. And because of that, he is a good guy. He just may be a bit intense and really dark. The Fiend, on the other hand, is a bad guy. Even though people cheer him, he is a bad guy. Because what's his finisher? He sticks his fingers down somebody's throat. He's trying to gag them and make them pass out. That's a dirty move. So there are different ways to play a dark character within the babyface and heel realm.
Honestly, I never thought about it like that. That actually made sense. Okay, I see Eric's here. Eric, you got any questions before we hop off of here?
Let's see. I see James asking for my upcoming events, and I'll plug those when we go to hop off. I'll plug my social media and my upcoming events so that everybody can follow me everywhere.
Okay.
And know where to find me.
Okay. Alrighty, I guess if no one got any more questions, it was good talking to you, Wesley.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you. If anybody watching wants to follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram.
Oh, hold on.
What's up?
It looks like Caleb Oxley decided to join in.
Oh, okay. What'd he say?
He said, "So you're the devil, huh? Can I kill it quickly? See you at the August 7th show."
I'll see you. I'll see you August 7th, Caleb. So, anybody wants to follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, I am Wesley Craig. My event's coming up July 10th. We got UW Week. The following week, I'm in Arkansas for Chair Metal Wrestling and Down South Championship Wrestling. The following week after that, I'm in Semi's, Alabama for the Alabama Wrestling Federation. And August 7th, I'm in Midwest City for Red Dirt Wrestling, where I'm going to take my size 10.5 boot, turn that sumbitch sideways, and stick it straight up Caleb Oxley's ass.
Was Legion face or heel in your opinion?
In my opinion, I mean, I don't think you can get much more evil than the devil. So, we'll see.
But, okay, it was good talking to you, and hope to see you August 7th, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
All right, have a nice night.
See you, man.